in this lesson, we'll move back to the rear of the vehicle and do a little work back there. So the area that we're going to add is basically the place for the license plate here, and then this little inset light up here in the trunk. Now to do both of these things, it's going to help us to actually have the geometry over on the other side. So let's go ahead and grab the trunk to begin with. I'm going to go to the hierarchy panel, say Effect Pivot Only. Let's go ahead and center it to the object, and let's also align it to the object. You can see how the axes are a little bit off there. And we'll go to the Modify panel, and let's go ahead and add a modifier. We'll just add a symmetry modifier. Use Z as the axis. And now let's go ahead and grab this mirror. I'm sorry, I forgot one little step. Let's go ahead and get rid of that symmetry. I wanted to make sure before we did that I actually grabbed these points. And if we look here in this back view, I want to make sure that they're aligned. Right now they're off in their own little space here. So I want to go ahead and make those planar in the Z, and then I'll just drag those over to this point right in here. Okay, and now what I want to do is add the symmetry modifier, and with the Z selected, go ahead and grab that mirror and just pull that over until the mirror is right on the middle, right on the origin there. Okay, and so so it should match up fairly well, unless you don't have your points quite snapped there. Go ahead and move those all the way over. And then we'll add our symmetry modifier. Do the same thing, grab the mirror, and now let's move this over into position. And there we go. So we've got our symmetry set up on this guy. Let's go ahead and collapse this. Yes. Go ahead, do the same thing down here. I'm going to go ahead and center to object, align to object. Let's go ahead and add, or let's make sure that our points are actually lined up with, which they're not, of course. So we can come in, and I'll just make these planar, and then move them over. And then we'll add our symmetry modifier to that. And in the Z, grab that mirror and just pull it over to the middle there. All right. Okay, so that should match up. We take a look at this. We've got now two pieces here. So let's go ahead and collapse this. Yes, I'm sure. And now we'll start to bring in these pieces. Now for this guy, all I need to do is add some resolution in here to maintain this hardness. You can see how that's kind of a little bit harder there. So I'm going to go ahead and add an edge, or add a line right in here. So go down to connect. Let's drag this over to maybe right about here. So minus 78, remember that number. And then we'll go to this side, do the same thing. This time we'll go to positive 78. All right. And that should be close enough. We don't need to, if you want to, you can move these lines down a little bit. If you want to take these three edges and just move them down, you could do that if you want to be exact with the placement here. You could go ahead and move those down and over. But you don't have to be too exact there. And now we can take these polygons, and since we're going to be kind of pushing this in, the first thing I want to do again is do an inset before I actually extrude that. So we'll go ahead and do an inset, and we'll do something like that. Okay to that. And now we can extrude, and we'll just extrude a tiny little bit, apply that, and we'll do our other extrude, and then we'll just push this back in. Okay. And that'll give us kind of a nice area in there. Now let's say that we want that to be nice and sharp on the interior. Well, we can inset that, just like so. And we can also select the edges inside here and actually add another line in the back. Okay, so that'll all be nice and sharp when we smooth this out. Now for this guy on top, we're going to be doing basically the same thing here. So we need to find out if we need to add some resolution. Let's go to the back view, and so we need to create some lines in here. So first thing we'll do is select those edges. Do a ring selection so we get all of them. And now let's go ahead and just connect. And let's add both of these at the same time. So we'll add 2. We'll kind of pinch them together, and we'll slide them over. Okay, so that we've got this kind of right in here. So minus 74, minus 71 is what we need to remember. So we'll grab these, and we'll do the same thing. Okay, and this time slide them over this way to 71. Okay, so that'll give us that little bit of detail in there that we can use. So we'll grab these polygons, and we can grab also these if we want to, and these. That'll give us something nice and tight. But before we extrude that in, we want to make sure we do an inset. So we'll do an inset with a particular amount. Okay, so something like that. Okay, and now we can push that in, inset it a little bit more. We'll apply that. We can maybe do one more. Actually, I'll just apply that, and then we'll just go ahead and extrude that in just a little bit. Apply that, and again, we'll cancel that and just push that in. And we want to make sure that we get rid of those faces inside there, those polygons. Okay, and these are basically the polygons from the back side of the trunk. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we get rid of those. Okay, get rid of those, and then we'll select these polygons here. We just pushed in. Okay. Select all these, and then we'll extrude those out to actually be the light itself. And using this, we'll make sure that it matches up. So go ahead and extrude that. Okay. Move this up a little bit, and then want to make sure you get all the polygons in here, and one over there. Go ahead and extrude this out. Say OK, and pull it straight out. Maybe pull it up a little bit, and you might want to scale this down just a little. All right, and then you can do another quick extrude, just real quick. And another inset, and that'll make it nice and tight. Now we can grow our selection till it goes all the way back, and then we can come in and actually detach that as the trunk light or whatever we want it to be. So that geometry is separate, and it's actually some kind of a light that's sticking in there. And if you want to modify it, you can come in and change the shape however you want to. Come in from the side and kind of grab that front, okay, and move it up if you want to do that. Okay, so just something like that. And then when we smooth it, you can see what that's going to look like. So it's nice and sharp, and then it's kind of sharp here. All right. So that's one way we can get some of our detail here in the back. Just smooth that out as well. Okay, you can kind of see what that looks like. All right, so got a little bit of detail going on in the back. Let's go ahead and in the next lesson continue on by adding the exhaust area down here. So we'll make a little ridge down here, and we'll add the exhaust pipes. Okay, so we'll do that in the next lesson.